What's up, guys? It's Josh here, back with another Kansas City Chiefs related video. We got another live stream tonight. Happy to see that all of you guys are joined who are already here. I see we already got a couple comments and stuff. So we will go ahead and get going here. And for those of you who are just now joining or are already here, go ahead and you can start asking more questions, putting comments in now. We just have a nice another little chat tonight. Make sure you like, share, subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. The more likes we get, the higher we can rank in search results. And you can also support the channel by sending a super chat like it says at the bottom of the screen. But without further ado, what's up, guys? Kansas City Chiefs says, yes, sir. Josh has been grinding. How you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, we got a little bit to talk about today. So I will go ahead and get right into it. Marlon Suddington says, will Lamar beat us this year? No, he won't. And then he also asks, who will we lose to this year? Off question, but I think the Bills or Packers. To be honest, I actually had the Chiefs schedule pulled up. Let me look at it. So let me see. I think most of our losses, if we have a handful, will come at the hands of a division opponent. I could see us losing to probably a trap game in the middle of the year, maybe a team like Washington or Tennessee again. I think one of our losses will be the Broncos at the end of the season, just because I think that we'll already have our playoff picture pretty much set, meaning that our starters will sit that game. I think the Broncos will win that one. And then I think the Chargers might get us once this year. I think that'll be a matchup to watch. I think the Chargers take one of two. Kansas City Chiefs says, like the video. Yes, please like the video. That would be great. Matthew Burns says, what are the chances KC will go 17-0? I'll go 45% chance they go 17-0. Some might think that's a little low, but it's extremely difficult to go 17-0. Like it just is. Like there's always going to be at least one game that you get caught slipping, or like I said, the team is already going to have their playoff seating set and everything, and maybe it's going to be that last week of the season where they don't play their starters and they probably lose that game. So, I mean, they got a better chance of going 16-1 than 17-0, but it's not impossible. George Glonick, I think I'm saying that right. He asks, do you think we will win our third AFC championship in a row? I think we do. Yeah. I just don't think that the Chiefs opponents did enough to close the gap on the Chiefs. I think right now, and I would still like the Chiefs to go out and make a few veteran signings, someone like a Melvin Ingram or, a veteran cornerback, stuff like that. And I think they will, especially when more of the cuts happen. But if they do that, I mean, this roster looks like a substantial upgrade over last year's. They added Nick Bolton to that linebacker core. The offensive line looks fantastic. They lost Sammy Watkins, but they have a good mix of guys that I think could replace Sammy Watkins' production from last year. Cornell Powell, really like that pick. So it's like, I think, look, Sammy had 400 yards and like 2 touchdowns last year. I think Byron Pringle, McCole Hardman, and Cornell Powell and DeMarcus Robinson, all of them can make up that production together. So, yeah, I have a pretty good feeling that the Chiefs will win the third AFC championship in a row. IDK says, might be a long shot, but I think the Chiefs are going to go 61-1. Yeah, I'm not sure how that's possible. Maybe you meant 16-1, but if you meant 16-1, then I totally agree. Who do you think is winning the NFC? To be honest, I think you'd be a little bit foolish to pick anyone else besides the Buccaneers, just because they returned so many players and they had complete freedom in the draft to add wherever they wanted, and they picked up a lot of guys that I like. Like Joe Tryon from Washington. He was one of my guys. They got him. I think he's going to be really good. The Bucs look pretty good, if I'm being honest, man. They did catch fire at the end of the year last year, which helped, but I still think, you can't bet against them. Uh, Voodoo asks, does LDT get us our fifth back post June 1 if he is willing to waive his no trade clause? Yeah, I guess it just all depends on if the Chiefs think LDT is worth trading. If they do trade LDT, it'll be because Trey Smith and Kyle Long both look really, really good, and there's a team that really wants LDT. It might be a player for player deal, but yeah, I wouldn't rule out LDT getting traded for some kind of draft compensation or maybe a player for player trade. Like I've seen people say before, oh, well, LDT has a no trade clause. Like, look, if the Chiefs were to tell LDT, yeah, you're not going to play here, like you're not getting the starting job, you're probably second, maybe third on the depth chart, I'm sure LDT would be willing to waive his no trade clause if it meant he would land somewhere where he's actually going to play. Dan Morale says, biggest threat in the AFC to the Chiefs. Bills or Browns, I think, once again. I think the Browns had a really good offseason. I'm just not sure Baker Mayfield is the guy to win that game. But I think the Bills also they didn't make as big of an improvement as the Browns, I thought, but they still, one of their big weaknesses last year was their defensive line, pass rush, run defense. They drafted two really good defensive ends. Was one of them Russo? And then I think they got, didn't they get Basham? I know they got two like really good guys. So look, I mean, I like the Bills. I think they'll definitely be a threat. Still think the Chiefs, I would take the Chiefs over either of those teams. But yeah, just biggest threat to the Chiefs, probably Bills or Browns. Cole, what's up? Nice to see you in here. Hydra says, top 5 QBs all time. I don't want to piss anyone off, but man, you have to give me a minute to think about that, and then I'll come back. Dan Marino is in my top 5, though. That's for sure. IDK says we need Justin Houston. Don't need Houston, but I'm in video on it. I would love to have him back for sure. I mean, he's a guy that has really similar stats to Frank Clark over the past 2 seasons. So if you like Frank Clark, you'd be adding another Frank Clark at a fraction of cost. In fact, I wrote an article in this a little while back comparing Houston and Clark after that whole conversation sparked. I'm going to find the article right now, and I'll read you their stats from the past 2 seasons. Also may have heard them in the video that I made a few days ago, but I'll go ahead and look that up real quick. And it's like really close. Like they're very similar players. Here we go. Just give me a second to scroll down. Yeah, it's still loading on my screen. Just give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. Past 2 seasons, Frank Clark and Justin Houston stats. Let's start with Frank Clark. Over the past 2 seasons, Frank Clark has 6 passes defended, 3 forced fumbles, 21 sacks, 66 tackles, 20 tackles for a loss, and 29 QB hits. Frank Clark also had a 55.7 run defense grade in 2020. Justin Houston, the past 2 seasons, 3 forced fumbles. 3 forced fumbles, 19.5 sacks, 69 tackles, 21 tackles for a loss, 30 QB hits, and a 60.5 run defense grade in 2020. So really, really similar production. However, Houston would be making a lot less. So I would like to bring Houston back, and I think it would be a good thing to bring him back and letting him win a ring with the Chiefs. Oh gosh, you guys got a lot of questions. Oh my gosh, I'm falling behind a little bit. IDK says 6-1. Yeah, that's what you meant. But yeah, in that case, I agree. And then IDK also asks, can Trey Smith play right guard? Absolutely. He played right guard in college a lot. I think he can play either guard spot, though, just fine. And I think he'll kind of be universal backup at the guard spots, depending on what happens with LDT in that Kyle Long position battle. Voodoo says, Darius Fountain, number 5, looking like the second best receiver in rookie camp behind Powell. If that's true, that's pretty interesting. I haven't watched too much of like the actual practices going on, but I know Darius Fountain was one of the more interesting UDFA pickups. I'm also wondering how Maurice French is doing the second year UDFA. I was pretty excited about him too. George Glonek says, with our shiny new O-line, how many rushing yards TDs will we produce? Nothing better than last year. I think we will definitely see the Chiefs run the ball a little bit more. I think they have to run the ball a little bit more because you saw that in the Super Bowl. There were so many situations in which Mahomes was getting nailed over and over again by the Bucs D-line. So when they were handing the ball off the clock, not only were they doing that because the Bucs defense was daring them to run the ball, but they also did that because you were taking the ball out of Mahomes' hands, thus taking him out of harm's way. And sometimes that's just what you have to do. And the Chiefs could benefit from being a more balanced offense and running the ball more, especially so teams can take them a little bit more seriously on RPOs. So, yeah, definitely. How many rushing yards and TDs will we get, though? I'll say Clyde has 1,100 yards and 6 rushing touchdowns, and maybe like 300 yards receiving and a couple more touchdowns there. Marlon Sunnington says or asks, out of all the rookies, who are you excited to see play? Man, that's a really good question. I'm going to go Nick Bolton, though. I really like Powell. I really like Noah Gray. I'm most excited for Nick Bolton, though, just being a Missouri fan and loving that pick from the very start. I'm excited to see what Bolton does as a Chief. Cole says, I think Trey Smith and Lucas Niang will be the starting right guard and right tackle by the trade deadline. Your take? Yeah, I mean, it's completely possible. I definitely think Lucas Niang will overtake that right tackle spot by midseason. I think Mike Remmers is going to start to begin the season, but the plan is for Niang to eventually take that spot from him. As far as Trey Smith being the right guard, man, that would be interesting because that would mean like he's even better than Kyle Long and LDT at that spot, which is definitely possible. But then I wonder what they're going to do on the left side of the line. So it'll be interesting. I think Trey Smith could play either guard spot, though. So, yeah, I think it's definitely possible. Whoops, I scrolled down a little bit too much. IEK says, steal the draft. No bias. I guess you were talking about Trey Smith. Double DD says, why would 3 rookies start on the line? That's very dangerous. Kyle Long at right guard for me. Hey, that's a fair point. 3 rookies on the line can be a little bit dangerous, but also they invested pretty highly in these guys, and I would be surprised if they don't let them play because these are like really, I mean, Creed Humphrey, like I think he'll start at center. Trey Smith, it's possible he could play at right guard. We'll see. I definitely think Kyle Long will win the job, though. And then who's the other rookie? Who's the other rookie you're referring to? Oh, yeah, I guess Niang, essentially, because, yeah. No, I don't know. It's interesting, but they still got a couple of veteran anchors like Tooney and Orlando Brown. As long as you have a good mix of veterans and rookies, it's okay. What's good, Chiefs Kingdom? Leg on my ego. What's up, man? Nice to see you in here. Marlon Sunnington, if you were in the NFL, what position would you play? Well, in high school, I played slot receiver and defensive back as a freshman and a sophomore. Junior year, I switched to running back. Really enjoyed it. However, I got hurt before the first game of the season. Had foot surgery, and then I quit football after that because I just didn't really like the coach and a whole bunch of stuff. So that really sucked. But I had a lot of fun playing. Eric Anderson says, you think Travis Kelce going to be jealous of the new tight end? He looks just like him. Yeah, he's pretty he kind of looks like him in a way too. It's crazy. They look like each other, they play like each other. Yeah, I think that's pretty funny, but Travis Kelce definitely I think will have a lot of fun taking Noah Gray under his wing. It'll be an interesting development there. Do you think the Chiefs front office has the balls to let Honey Badger walk? Oh yeah. That was one of the things someone wanted to talk about today. So Honey Badger tweeted this morning something like, so the tweet he responded to was my tweet. If you guys didn't know, Show Me Football, that's my account. And I tweeted something yesterday saying, when do you think, or are we ever going to get Tyrann Mathieu extension? And then Tyrann Mathieu replied to it and said, probably won't, or something like that. Been in this position before. And Chiefs Kingdom kind of freaked out about it. Let me just say this. Tyrann Mathieu is a guy that's always been kind of a Twitter junkie. He's always on there. He'll hop on Twitter like 5 minutes after the game and tweet a bunch of stuff, and he ends up deleting like half of it. You know, that's just who he is. I think he's maybe just frustrated with negotiations right now, but I expect those to progress, and Brett Veach will sign Honey Badger. They're not going to let Honey Badger walk. No, I mean, he's a 2-time All-Pro in his 2 seasons with Kansas City. He's the heart and soul of the secondary. No way the Chiefs let him walk. Ronnie Clemens is a guy to watch out for. This guy hits hard, has great vision and speed, just pure talent. Yeah, we'll definitely have to watch him. I'm excited for rookie minicamp and some of the storylines that come out of it. What do you think about Matthew? Yeah, we just talked about that. Hopefully you heard that though. Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately he'll get extended. Right now he's just playing his Anson Lee. I think I'm saying that right. Let me know if I'm not. He says, can this O-line be top 3 in the NFL? Top 3. If everyone plays up to their potential, like if Trey Smith ends up being the beast everyone thinks he is, if Creed Humphrey, reaches his full potential, Lucas Niang, then you got Tooney Long on the left side. Like, yeah, I mean, there's no reason they can't be top 3 in the NFL. But I assume you're kind of like asking for this season. I don't know if they'll quite be top 3. They'll definitely be in the mix for like top 5, top 7, though, for sure. I mean, they're already one of the better units in the NFL. Just all depends on how everything pans out, though, of course. What's up? More people just joining in. What is your one word to describe Raiders fans? It depends on which ones you talk to. I have a couple of like Raiders fans that I talk to like on Twitter and stuff, and they're actually pretty cool, pretty realistic about their team. But like just the Raiders fans that are like in Chiefs replies and stuff like that, they're very delusional. We'll go with that. Hydra says top 5 QBs again. And Mahomes, in no particular order. Mahomes, Marino, Montana, Brady. You have to put Brady top 5. I'm sorry. And I'll let you decide the other spot. There you go. I have about 17 4-letter words to describe Raiders fans. Well, you probably shouldn't type them in the chat. What do you think about Kelvin Benjamin back in the NFL with the Giants? Hydra's going to block me. What do you think about Kelvin Benjamin back with the Giants? I'm happy for the guy, honestly. I loved Kelvin Benjamin coming out of college. It sucked that it didn't work here, but because I really like the dude. He has to get his work ethic in check, though. But if he does, I mean, he's got the talent to be a really good receiver, and we've seen that before. So I'm rooting for him, though. I mean, if he works out with the Giants, I mean, they got a pretty loaded offense then. Lego My Ego says LB Emmanuel Smith. Yeah, I liked him from last year. He actually played in the game for the Chiefs last year. QB Anthony Gordon, wide receiver Dalton Shen, wide receiver Chad Williams, Maurice French, Derek Gore, Evan Bayless, Brian Witzman, Tyler Clark, Austin Edwards, Omari Cobb, and DB Rodney Clemens. So, yeah, Lego My Ego is putting almost our entire rookie minicamp roster in the chat. So if you guys want to check that out, those guys are all the full future reserve contract guys. Oh, yeah, that's right. Not minicamp. Reserve future contracts. I believe Prince Tega is another one as well. DeAndre Baker, I think, is one of the reserve future guys too. Yeah, I'll have to make maybe a video on them. So we'll see. And I'll remind everyone now, since we're waiting for more questions and stuff, make sure you like, share, subscribe so we can get more Chiefs fans to find this. And you can always support the channel by sending a super chat along with your question. That really helps me out. So IDK says, had the Bengals made any changes to their O-line? So they signed Riley Reef in free agency, and he'll be a stopgap for them. I guess he'll play one of the tackle spots. And then they drafted Jonah Jackson last year, I'm pretty sure. So I'm interested to see what they do with him this year. I would have to go back and look at their draft class and stuff and their full free agency to see all the changes they made. But they've made a couple moves, I'm pretty sure. Marlon Sunnington says, Josh, what is your favorite Chiefs season throughout our history? got to go with 2019, man, when we won the Super Bowl. I mean, I know there's probably been like more, seasons that Chiefs fans enjoy, but I got to go with the most recent Super Bowl because it ended the way that we all wanted it to. So we'll see, man. We got a Raiders fan in the chat right now. Watch out for them Raiders. Really? Okay. Do you think Aaron Rodgers lands in Denver? If so, what happens to our division? Man, the optics of the Aaron Rodgers possibility of him getting traded to the Broncos is crazy. I personally don't think he goes to Denver. And one of the big reasons is because it would require Green Bay being willing to give him up. And I just don't see it happening, to be honest. Like, if I'm the Packers, I'm like, we're not trading you. Like, why would we give you up to another team and let you go be good there? I would be like, just look, if you want to retire, go be the host of Jeopardy, but we're not trading you. And I believe that, it's going to take an incredible haul for, Denver to be able to land Rodgers anyways. And I made this point in a recent video, but it's like, okay, well, let's say the Broncos trade like 5 first-round picks and a couple players, maybe like Jerry Jeudy and Patrick Surtain. Okay, well, is that team really all that, after giving up all that, are they much better than the situation Aaron Rodgers has in Green Bay? I'm not quite sure. And you're getting a way worse coach. So yeah, not really too sure about that. Voodoo says, hold on. And then you asked what would happen to our division. If it happens, I think the Broncos could, compete to be that second best team. Still would have to go through the Chiefs though. Voodoo asks, he says Jody Fortson for tight end 3. He has more upside as a catcher and athlete than Bell if he's finally developed. Yeah, I'm really hoping for Jody Fortson to make that jump, man. I thought he was going to make it last year. I know he ran with the ones a couple times when like Travis Kelce wasn't practicing, or they just had him run with the ones just because, and he was pretty impressive. I really hope he makes that jump too, man. Even if it's not as tight end, wide receiver, something. I really want Jody Fortson to be able to contribute. We'll see though. I'm hopeful for him. Lego Maega says, I've been waiting on someone to do a vid on what reserve future contract is, how teams are going to use it, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I'll definitely have to look into that, and I'll go over some of my favorite Chiefs players that are on the reserve future contract. So I'll definitely look into it, and I know there's a couple intriguing ones. Marlon Suddington says, if Aaron Rodgers comes to the AFC West, this is the best QB division by far. Yeah, it's definitely up there. NFC West is pretty good too. Trey Lance and Trey Lance is really the only unknown, but they got Matthew Stafford now. They got Kyler Murray. They got Russell Wilson. Like, that's a pretty good division too. But yeah, AFC West would definitely be up there. Derek Carr would really be holding it down though. That's for sure. Hayden Shepard says, do you think this offense is top 5 and defense top 10? Yeah, I think the offense will still be top 5. I don't think they'll miss a beat with the new offensive line and the drafting of Cornell Powell, Noah Gray, all those moves. I think the offense won't miss a beat. Defense, yeah, I mean, they were like fringe top 10 the past 2 seasons, I feel like. I'm pretty sure. So it's definitely possible. And then when you consider the additions they made on the defensive line, drafting Nick Bolton, we'll have to see if they make any other moves. But yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason they can't be. It's definitely possible. And then we got our first super chat from Eric Anderson. Thank you very much. Again, I really appreciate these. They really help out the channel. But he says, Pat Mahomes has no excuses not staying in the pocket. Somebody had to say it. Yeah, that's for sure, man. He'll probably have all day to throw now. And it'll be interesting to see how he does now with that clean pocket. Because the thing is, I'm interested. I'm not saying he won't be good in the clean pocket, but man, he's so used to just making those big plays, when he gets pushed out of the pocket and when he floats away. So I wonder if he'll play any different now that he has a clean pocket, just because he hasn't really been used to that in a long time. Like, to be able to have that consistently. I know he's been pressured on like 26% of his career dropbacks or something like that. So it'll definitely be a different feel for him. We'll have to see. IDK says, off topic, do you think Jimmy G is staying in San Francisco? I think he'll stay. I don't know how much longer, but I definitely think it'll be a situation where maybe he plays and then Lance eventually takes over. We'll have to see. I haven't been studying that situation too much though, but I'm not sure who would trade for him at the moment. We'll see though. And I think he's getting paid too much to cut him. I could be wrong, but from what I heard, they want 3 first-round picks, 2 third-round picks for Aaron Rodgers. That would be interesting. I'm not sure if I'd do it if I'm Green Bay, though, even for that. IDK says, what do you think of the Kando pick? The Kando pick is interesting. He's got the physical upside. He's got the talent. I've said it before. He was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. So he's got the upside, but it's really going to be on the coaching staff to get the most out of him and see if they can get, that 5-star recruit coming out of high school out of him, if that makes sense. Like if he reaches his full potential, he could be one of the better defensive ends in the league, but he just didn't have that kind of production in college. So we'll have to see what the coaching staff can do with him. Definitely a high upside pick though. Chase says, how much better will the run game be? I think it'll be a lot better. I know a lot of times last year, those 3rd and short, 4th and short situations, or those 2nd and long runs too, they were just not very successful. I have to imagine that has to be a lot better this year because, I remember seeing this chart and it was like the Chiefs had the worst run block win rate interior offensive line in the entire league. You add Creed Humphrey, Austin Blythe, Kyle Long, LDT, Joe Tooney into that interior. They should be a lot better. So, and there's no reason Clyde can't run for more than 1,000 yards. Marlon Sunnington, if Mahomes gets Paul Tom Brady flags everywhere. Yeah, you've been starting to see Mahomes get that treatment a little bit more, which is nice, but sometimes he still gets hit and there should be a flag and there isn't. Do you think the Chiefs will still sign Melvin Ingram? Asked Bob Ross. I'm going to say no, but I hope they do because I feel like it kind of should have been done by now. Maybe they're still talking to him. I don't know. I really hope the Kando pick didn't make them back off of that though, because I still think they need a veteran in the fold. I don't know, man. I hope they do. I really do. I think he'd be a nice addition. Do you agree with the top 10 QBs? You got Russell Wilson at number 1, Tom Brady at number 2, Mahomes at 3. So they got Mahomes at 3, Tom Brady at 2, Russell at 1. I definitely think Mahomes has to be number 1. Any list that doesn't have Mahomes at number 1 isn't paying attention. Hayden Shepard asks, who do you think will be the offense rookie of the year and the defense rookie of the year? I guess you mean for the entire league. Man, way too early to tell, but offensive rookie of the year, I'll go. Man, that's tough. Maybe Rashad Bateman in Baltimore. Defense, I'll go Nick Bolton just for fun. IDK says, better tight end, Kelsey or Kittle. Kelsey, not even close. People talk about the blocking thing with Kelsey and Kittle. Oh, Kittle's the way better blocker. Look, Kelsey had a better blocking efficiency than Kittle last year. Kelsey was also the only tight end last year to post above 90 grade in against both man and zone coverage. Kelsey's coming off the greatest season ever by a tight end. Kelsey is also a better blocker than people give him credit for, but it's like, this is what I tell people, like, that's like people complaining about Julio Jones's blocking. Like, okay, Julio Jones can still be a good blocking wide receiver, but he's such a good pass catcher, and Kelsey is such a good pass catcher that it would be idiotic to use any of those guys primarily as a blocking tight end or use them as a blocking tight end even half the time. Like, Kelsey doesn't get this like recognition for his blocking because the Chiefs don't have him block as much, because he should be catching the ball more than he blocks. Like, it's pretty simple. Lego My Ego says, Kelsey got more swag. Kittle's just a bulldozer. Kansas City Chiefs says, how did Tyrann Mathieu see your tweet? Does he follow you or does he have a burner account? No, see, this is what Tyrann Mathieu does. He puts his name in the Twitter search bar and he sees what people are talking about him. And he goes and he just replies to tweets and he ends up deleting like half of them because he's like really insecure. And I love Tyrann Mathieu. He's one of my favorite players. I have his jersey. But if there's one thing that I could complain about Tyrann, it's that he always goes on social media and likes to stir things up. So that's just how it is with them. Excuse me. Again, make sure you like, share, subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. And you can always support the channel by sending a super chat. Marlon Suddington says, what is Mahomes' season looking like? I'll go. I think he hits 5,000 yards again. And we'll go with 43 touchdowns. I think that's the kind of season Mahomes can have. Bob Ross asks, who do you think the Chiefs Rookie of the Year will be? I'll go with Cornell Powell. Cornell Powell or Nick Bolton. One of those two. I think those would be probably my favorite picks. I think Nick Bolton will have a chance to contribute immediately. I think Cornell Powell will surprise some people. George Glownick says, Kelsey hands down best tight end, only tight end with 1,000 yards, 3 straight seasons. I think it's actually more than that. I think it's like 5 straight seasons with 1,000 yards. So yeah, I mean, either way, you're totally correct. It's Kelsey, man. It just is. Do you think the Browns will get Greedy Williams? I think you've been commenting this a lot about Greedy Williams. I haven't read too much into it. I'm not sure what his outlook is on that roster, but if they do get rid of him, I would like the Chiefs to take a flyer on him, sure. We'll have to see, though. I know Veach likes former high-round picks, and Greedy Williams is definitely that. Marlon Sunnington says top 3 tight end. He's top 2, and he's not 2. I'll tell you that. We're at 31 minutes now. I'll go ahead and go for a few more minutes. I appreciate all you guys that have joined tonight. We got a nice crowd in here, so really appreciate that. George asks, does Tebow succeed at tight end, or is this just utterly ridiculous? Want your opinion? I don't. It depends on what you consider a success. I do think he can play a little bit of tight end because when you think about it, I mean, he's a very good athlete. He's a successful multi-sport athlete. Like I have no doubt that he has the athleticism to play the tight end position. I'm not sure if he's the ideal size. I'd have to go back and look. I'm not sure if he has the hands or the route running that you would want in the tight end, or if he's got any of that blocking ability. We'll have to see, though. Urban Meyer knows him better than any of us do, and if he thinks that Tebow can play tight end, then, man, I'm down to see it. We'll have to see it. As of right now, though, I'm kind of 50-50 on it, to be honest. Chase says, I think Juan Thornhill is a free safety more than a strong safety. Yeah, he's definitely more of a free safety. We'll have to see how he progresses this year. He's now one season removed from his ACL surgery. So I hope because he kind of took a step back last year. So hopefully he can take another step forward. Chances Mahomes wins MVP. I think he's actually the favorite on most betting sites, so I'll stick with that. I'll say he's the favorite. Especially with the new offensive line. Congrats on your growth. These lives are fire. Thanks, Bob. Oh, gosh. Thanks, Bob. I really appreciate it. Yeah, we've had exponential growth in my channel. Couldn't have done it without you guys, though. Like I said, we got a nice crowd in here tonight. 42 people, so that's pretty crazy. Les Norton says, sorry I'm late. Hopefully I can rewatch later. Thank you for the good work. Hey, yeah, no, I appreciate it. And I will definitely keep these up so you can go and watch them and play them back after the fact. But I appreciate you joining either way. Marlon Suddington says, always love the video, bro. Keep up the grind. You should make a video about who will have the best season for the Chiefs. Yeah, if you guys have video suggestions, please leave them in the comments. I'm always trying to brainstorm new video ideas and stuff like that. So definitely I could do something like that, and appreciate the support. Lego My Ego looks like he's got one last question here, and then I think I'll wrap it up there. But he says, what are your thoughts on wide receiver Jeff Badditt, and should the Chiefs pick him up? I don't know much about him, to be honest. I would have to go looking at him. But again, like I said, if you guys got any prospects I like, I'll definitely go look at them and maybe give out my thoughts on them. So we'll see. Les Norton, he's got one more comment here. I'm looking forward to the Tim Tebow experience. I'm always hopeful for success, but we shall see. Yeah, honestly, man, I think it's 50-50 on if he's like going to be a successful tight end or not. We'll see. Like I said, I don't doubt he has the athleticism to be a tight end. I just don't know if he has any of the skills you would look for in a tight end. I mean, he has some of them from playing quarterback. I know he is really good at evading pressure and stuff like that in college. So he's got, he's a very fluid athlete. He's good at moving around, but we'll have to see. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for tonight, guys. So again, thank you so much for joining. Make sure you like, share, subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this, and make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com and kckingdom.com. That's all I got for today. Peace.